Okay, spelling group number 3. I have your next set of spelling words for Friday's test. I gave you 8 on Monday, and I'm going to give you 7 today for a total of 15 words. And I'm also going to give you 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10 letter phonograms. And those will be on the test also. Okay, so your first word is going to be vote. Vote. As a citizen, you have a responsibility to go and vote. All right? It's one syllable. Vote. There's a O, O, U. It's saying a second sound, O, vote. And it's saying its second sound because the silent E rule number 1. Okay? Your next word is equip. 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 2 syllables. The soldiers need to equip the fort with guns and bullets. Equip. All right. The first syllable is E, which is both at the beginning and at the end of a syllable. When it's at the end, it'll say it's second sound. You're right. Okay. Let me scoot this over here. Okay. Quip. We have a multi-letter phonogram. Q needs a U, and U is not a vowel here. Otherwise, it would be U as in fruit. All right. It's saying its first sound. I, so we don't need to mark it. Your next word is feel. Feel. 1 syllable. Let me make that very clear so you can understand, because it might be confused for field. It's feel. I feel cold. Feel. And we have an E. Double E always says E. Number 4. Your word is diary. My boys like to read Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Diary. We say diary, but we spell diary. Diary. Oops. First syllable, die. I says I because it's at the end of a syllable. A says A because it is at the end of a syllable. At the end of a syllable, it says its second sound. And third syllable, re. We cannot write re because English words do not end in I, so we replace it with a ya, I. Ya, I. So ya is a consonant sound and the I are vowel sounds. Your next word, you should know how to spell. The word is history. History. History is his story. His story. History. I is saying I, first sound. We don't need to mark it. It's saying the first sound. It has 2 sounds. To, o. It's saying the second sound at the end of a syllable. And we don't use the I because English words do not end in I, so we use ya, I. Your next word is dozen. I sent my son to the store to get a dozen eggs. Does N. Does N. 2 syllables. As and. All right. A, o, u, da, it's a first sound. We don't need to mark it. E, e, it's a first sound. We don't need to mark it either, so there's nothing to mark. And number 7, the last one. Sorry. Sorry. I am so sorry you are sick. Sorry. Remember, a good way to remember if there's a double consonant is if you say the syllables to yourself when you're taking the spelling test, you will hear that there's 2 R's. Sorry. You'll hear there's 2 R's and you won't have to try to remember if it's 2 R's if you say the syllables. All right. So S is saying its first sound. It has 2. Sar. Okay, this may look like the or as in Lord, but it says as in o, u, first sound. So in order not to confuse this for or as in Lord, we normally don't mark the first sound of a vowel, but in this case we will, just so not to confuse it with the or as in Lord. So you're going to put a 1 over the Ri. Same thing over here. English words do not end in I, so we replace it with a I. Sorry. So you have 3 of them. Ri, with I's. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to try to talk. Oh, you know what? No, yeah. I'm going to try to attempt to talk you through going to your reference pages. And I want you to go, you should have a page, a reference page. It's called a numbers page. And that page will probably be, I think it's going to be page 13, unless we did not number them the same way as my book. But go to your reference page. Let me look really quick. If it's not page 13, it might be page 15 or 15 and 16. All right, go to the reference page. Hold on just a second. So on your numbers page, you are going to have, let me do this. Oopsie. This will be one side of your book, and this will be the other side of your book. On this side, you will have numbers probably already written there. You will probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 12, probably. You may even possibly have 100 on there. Okay, and then you're going to have first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way down to 12. On the other side of the book, you're going to, I'm not sure if we did the months last year or not. It doesn't matter. We're not going to do that right now. And then if the page is folded in half, this half of the page might have the days of the weeks, but I don't remember doing that last year. Okay, then halfway down, halfway or a little bit lower, 2/3 of the way down, make sure you leave like 6 spaces, go up 6 lines, and then if this isn't there already, I want you to write period of years. I'm going to write it bigger so that you can see. I'm going to write this bigger so you can see it better. This period of years, I want you to write them, okay? And then, if you want, you can even underline it right on the line, okay, like this, because that's just the title. Then you can skip one space if you want. You don't have to. The next line down, if you have decade, that's fine. Then skip 2 lines, and then this is what we're going to write. Your spelling word doesn't. Don't write this. you're going to write does in. You're going to write it in syllables because that's our spelling word, does in. And the reason we're writing that period of years, because this is one way of talking about years. We can say a decade of years, a dozen years, a century, a millennium. This is just a unit that we use to refer to how many years. You very rarely hear people say a dozen years. Usually they'll say a decade, a century, 50 years, 100 years, 1,000 years. But rarely will you hear them say a dozen years. All right? That's why we're putting that there. And then also, I want you to get a piece of lined paper. And I'm going to give you your 10. Actually, you know what? In your spelling book, on the bottom of your spelling, I think there's some long lines where you can write a sentence that we never use. Okay, on that down there on the bottom, I want you to write these 10 spelling words. After I show it to you, I'm going to say it, then you're going to write it and say it at the same time. If you write it and say it at the same time, you'll remember it a lot better than just looking at it or even saying it, okay? Especially those of you guys who are visual learners. Please write it and say it at the same time. If everybody knows these on Friday when I get the test back, we'll move on to different words. So the first one is ooh-uh-oh. Ooh-uh-oh. Write it and say it. Ooh-uh-oh. Next one is it's not k, it's k, two-letter k. Used only after a single vowel, which says a, e, a, which are the first sounds of every syllable. Used after the first sound of the 5 syllables. K. The next one is as in her, or as in Lord, R as in car, E, a, two-letter A that we may not use at the end of an English word. Why? Because English words not end in I. And A, two-letter A that we may use at the end of an English word. And the last one, ch, k, sh. It's not ch, k, it's ch, k, sh, ch, k. 3 sounds. All right. So practice those. If you get 100 on those, you won't see them again, which I have a feeling these are easy ones. I start off with the easy ones, and I'll move up to the harder ones. Okay, now, this group 3, the words that you missed last week, I want you to write them 6 times each, and make sure you turn those in with your spelling test this Friday. All right, I'm not going to give them to you again on the test again. So just write them for me 6 times each correctly and turn them in, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.